right, what's up, everybody, and welcome to On the Hop with Coach Chop. Today I'm here with a special guest, Polk County's finest, one of the fastest athletes to ever come out of the state of Florida. He's a swamp king. He's a future CFL Hall of Famer, Mr. Chris Rainey. Chris, how you doing today, my brother?
What up, Chris? Thank you for having me.
Good, man. Thank you for coming and being part of the show. So, Chris, you grew up in Polk County. Tell us about your early days playing football.
Well, playing football, I used to play by myself all the time. And I had a dog that was my only friend, best friend, sister, brother, all this at the time, because I was living with my grandma at the time. So, because both parents were drug addicts, they was in prison. So, and believe it or not, I was born in prison. So, at that time, what I heard that my mom and my grandma they were going at it at the time, so they didn't like each other at that time. So luckily, my grandma came and got me like 4 days later, and that's who I lived with and everything else. So when I got sick, even though I was playing football by myself the whole time, because I was the only one there. So my grandma had 6 daughters, no sons, nothing. She was the only child too. Her mom was the only child. Her dad was the only child. So, and we'll go more down deeper. So when I turned 6, my grandma was sitting on the porch, watching me play football. Like I'm one of the guys that throw the football far as I can and run and go catch it myself. So I was doing that kind of stuff, playing football with my dog or playing tag with my dog. That's how I got faster. That's what I believe, and everything else. So my grandma said, "You want me to sign you up?" So she ended up signing me up. First year, played offensive line. I still to this day don't know how I became a running back.
Hold on, your first year you played offensive line?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yes, I did.
Man, yep. I bet that Pop Warner coach looking back and he probably kidding himself and wishing he had put you in the backfield instead of wasting you on the offensive line.
Man, I didn't know nothing at the time, and then when you think about when you're old, it's like, I was the offensive lineman. But yeah, first year, and then the second year, running back, and then the rest is history.
Right. That's usually what they do, though. They kind of put kids on the offensive line so they get used to that contact.
Yep, just
and
like
they kind of
Pop
gradually
Warner.
put them in different skill positions. So did you excel when you were in youth football? I'm sure you probably scored a touchdown every time.
Definitely scoring 5 times a game, taking our team to the Super Bowl and all that stuff. Still didn't go at playing at the Super Bowl, getting cheated a lot and all that stuff. Right. But I was doing my thing, so that was it. Because I already know what kind of mission I was on. Because I was go to the NFL, go to college. Because I had an older brother,
right?
And that's who I looked up to. He graduated high school. Went to college, graduated college, went to the pros, all that stuff. So
he has a name for himself too.
Ross Smart. Right. Nickname He Hate Me. Though back in the day, right. XFL, not this time, but that was back in the day. He was the top dog during that time too. At the same time, so
I remember him because I remember him having a unique name, and people comment on his
name. He hate me,
right? So high school, when you got to high school. That's when I first took notice of you. They had one video where I think you had like a 90-yard touchdown, and you ran full speed all the way probably to the back of the end zone, And I like how you always finish, because you always finish full speed when you run a touchdown. Mm-hmm. You show people like your speed, and it was always noticeable that you was always the most explosive person on the field when you played in high school. Describe what it was like in those days when you played in high school football.
Well, they say it's always one every generation that just among boys, among boys. So, and I feel like I was that because I was ahead of the game, and I had a mind of my own, and I was a man at an early age too at the same time. So, and people can't control that part. You just got to start early, being a grown up basically, and all that stuff. So. And watching Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, Bear saying all the boys, been there like you done it, and all that stuff. So just like I ran through the end zone, I ain't never slow down, never look back. That's a part of my mom when she got a pretty tell me, run fast as you can, never look back, because they won't ever touch you in the end zone. So that was one thing I kept with my mom. So, but yeah, it was easy and if you want to go to college and go to NFL, you got to stand high.
Right.
Every time. And me being bullied, picked on, all the stuff when I was little, getting picked last or never got picked at all. You know how many times I cried going home to my grandma?
Right.
Many times I was sick of that. So after that, I said, you know what? How can I get picked first. I gotta do something to get picked first. Everybody gonna love me. I'm gonna be the best player and whatever I do. So that was my goal and that was my mindset for the rest of my life. I'm coming in number one. Anything, everything I do, I'm gonna be number one. Anything, everything I do, wherever I go, I'm gonna be number one. Whatever I do, I'm gonna come out number one. Like camps, football, anything. It just that was my mindset. Because I was tired of doing being crying, going to my grandma, the softest kid, the smallest kid, getting small all the time, getting picked on. You get tired of enough is enough. So you be like, okay, now for to make people love me, like me, this and that, and all that other stuff. So that was basically it. That's how I started.
Right, that's awesome. But that explains a lot of your success. Wanting to be first, wanting to be that number one person. Just have that mindset.
After every high school game, Saturday, when I look at that newspaper, I better see my name at number one every time. Anything I do it. That's how it was.
Right. That's awesome, man. So I know you were close to your grandmother. You spoke on her a little bit. Talk about the impact she had on you growing up.
That's the first person I got love from and everything. Yeah, because my grandma was an alcoholic, smoked cigarettes. That's why I don't drink or smoke to this day. But I know she was depressed from her parents and all that stuff. When they passed away, she never been the same. So she just started drinking, and it was ridiculous. She was mean as hell when she was drunk and all that stuff. So me watching that all my life with her smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day, smelling that cigarette all day, every day, and I'm smelling like it too when I go to school or something like that.
Right.
You be like, man, I ain't gonna never ever in my life. I'm saying this when I was younger. I'll never ever in my life do that because I seen it, and then when you get older and older, like high school and college, you see it too in the club, and you see what happens. People die, people get hurt, people different, all that stuff. So you like, man, I'm glad I did that because the more you see it, the more you like, I ain't gonna do it. And I damn sure ain't gonna do it now because I'm seeing all this stuff too at the same time. So you think it's when you see an older person do it, it's just all old. No, it's kids, whoever. It doesn't matter. Alcohol don't got no name on it. It will kill you. Just like a gun, it will kill, no name on it. So that's how I was. So
I feel you. So I read somewhere that you moved in with the Pouncey twins when you were in high school. What was that like?
Well, my mom got out of prison when I was I think in middle school. I ended up living with her for 2 years. Didn't get along because I ain't really know her like that. And I was scared of her too at the same time because my mom was one of them ghetto thugs. Everybody knew that love and all that stuff goes in the mouth, goes everywhere. She have her body burnt because she tried to blow up a police station back in the day. That's what I heard.
Oh, wow.
Man, all that. So when she got out, she got all her kids. I lived with her for 2 years. Didn't get along. So when I met the twins in high school, we became close and all that other stuff. So I ended up moving with them. I was staying over there every weekend and got used to it. And then I ended up staying over there. And that was the first time I seen like a real house, like pictures of family, all that kind of stuff. It was fun, nice and everything. Then I had my offensive lineman right next to me 24/7 too at the same time. There was dogs too on the football field.
Right.
And they blocked for me, and they always telling me, hey, follow us. Don't follow nobody. Follow us when it comes to football and all that stuff. So, hey, I ain't have no choice either. And they were that's why I look at, when I look at linemen, that's what I picture. The Pouncey twin.
Right.
If you want to be more in my line, you gotta be one of those boys.
Right.
So that's how I was.
I can only imagine the brotherhood that you built with them. Being able to live with them at that time. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, it's just y'all went to school together and everything. And I tell you, man, just that class that you had from the Lakeland High School, I do believe that was the class that sparked the whole Swamp King thing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because, Florida was still, they were good before y'all got there. But when y'all came, y'all made a major impact immediately. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I almost went to Florida by myself. They were all on trying to go to Florida State.
Oh yeah.
Man, I had to set that up. Hey man, we got to stay together. We stay together. We got a chance to win another championship in college and all that stuff. So we did that, and then.
Oh, so both Pouncey twins, they wanted to go to Florida State.
Oh no, they all were. Ma Black,
wow.
John Brown.
Right.
I know it was some deals that happened with twins with Paul Wilson, Steve Wilson, all that other stuff, but we got it all there.
Right.
And then with the Friday Night Lights, what Florida be having, all that stuff, that's when I met all them other guys. I met Major Wright in the state championship game all 3 years, but all the other guys, I met Deontay Thompson at the state championship game. But Joe Hayton, Cam Newton, Aaron Hernandez, Moji, all them other boys at Friday Night Lights, and I'm like, nowadays, when you see kids, athletes, like 4 stars, 5 stars, and all that other stuff, they worry about the college and all the other stuff, but it's other players out there that you want to play with or that's good. You're like, man, I want to be part of it so we can build a team so we can win, because you can't win no team by yourself.
Right.
I mean, no game by yourself or a championship by yourself and all that stuff. So when I saw the boys, I'm whispering, hey, trying to, like a slight recruit type, hey man, y'all come, we all get together, we're gonna make something happen, and they all came, and now we're the best team.
Man, that's awesome, man. It's crazy because like you played a major impact on some of the best athletes in the world coming to the University of Florida. So like, think about if it was no Pouncey twins, or who's the other fella that played on your Lakeland team?
Ahmad Black.
Ahmad Black. Think about if they didn't go to the University of Florida and they decided to go to FSU. It probably wouldn't be no documentary, like you said. You know
no, definitely not.
But you want to go to the University of Florida. You want to play with some of the best athletes. So you know what? I'm going to help this recruiting process by trying to recruit myself.
Cause you gonna see all the names. You gonna hear all the stuff what they did and everything else, and that's what a coach do. They try to build a team.
Right.
But you want the right people, the right fit, everybody on the same page, all that stuff. So, cause all these guys I all talk to, winning, not all of them got winning program, but they got a winning mindset and everything. They want to win the championship. They want to do this. They want to go to the NFL, all that. So that was the difference. Everybody on the same page on every which way. Right. So that's why we had the most brother bond, everything. So everything we did together. Like it wasn't no separate, oh, we go with this group don't like this, nothing. It was
a true brotherhood.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's amazing, man. And I see something similar happening over in Colorado with Coach Prime.
That's
a bunch of kids getting together. A bunch of, like you said, 3 stars, 4 stars, a few 5 stars, because they want to be, first of all, trained by one of the best athletes ever, Deion Sanders, and second of all, they just want to win. Kids want to win. And just contribute however way they can, and all y'all, because it's hard to try to, like you said, we're gonna talk about it later on, divide that pie with so many athletes, but your coach, he did a fantastic job of doing that. But we'll get into that later on. So, when you were in college, your football and basketball teams won a national championship. Describe the atmosphere on campus back then.
Well, after every high school game, because I committed my sophomore year, I already knew where I was going. My first letter, I had a letter from every school in the nation except Texas Longhorn. At that time, they was recruiting in the state. So I already knew where I was going. After every high school game, I went to Florida to go watch the game for Saturday and all that stuff. So I'm already on campus, feeling like I'm already going to school there. That's how much I was over there.
Right.
Spending the night with older guys before me or during that time and all that stuff. So it was just ridiculous because, like I said, we coming from winning program from high school.
Right.
That's the part I want to do. I want to be part of that too in the college.
You want to carry over.
Carry over, because it's hard to win a championship from every level.
Right.
That was one of my goals too. Winning programs, winning championship for every level, all that stuff. And the atmosphere was ridiculous. And then the basketball team ended up winning both 2 in a row. So one, then the football, then basketball. Man, ain't nothing but it's hard to describe that because it was ridiculous.
Right.
Ridiculous. A high school kid coming to see that.
Right.
It just be a fire and be like, I want to be part of that. Right. I want that to happen too. How can I what can I do to make this happen?
Right. I
So
mean, that's recruiting all of itself. Winning, you know what I'm saying? You got basketball and football teams winning.
that's what people
So,
don't understand.
I can't imagine a whole lot of education taking place at that time. I'd imagine people partying in midday all through the night.
Yeah, but you still
It's
got to do
just
your
nonstop
job in
partying.
school. Yep.
Right.
Everybody didn't play that.
Right. I heard that. So, all the great Florida athletes have a memorable touchdown dance, from Deion Sanders to Ray Lewis. Now, you do the K Wayne with it dance. It's called the K Wayne with it dance. Tell us how that got started, man. Tell us about the whole dance and how that got started.
Well, when I was in middle school, we used to go to this place called Skate World, where everybody in the city go to on Saturday nights. I forgot how much it cost, but I think my uncle used to work there, so I used to slide there once in a while and all that stuff. So one day, that song came on, the beat caught me off guard. Everybody doing the dance. Me, I don't know how to dance, so when I was watching people do the dance, they taught me how to dance, and I just fell in love with it. I couldn't stop doing the dance because one, I can't dance, so that's the only thing I can do. So I just made it and perfected it and everything. So and all that stuff, and then I was like, you know what? It'll be the perfect dance to be my fitness dance for when I get to the league.
Right.
So now my motivation, because I knew I could do it in high school, couldn't do it in college because you get a flag and all that stuff during that time.
Right.
So I had to wait. So that gave me another motivation. I got to get to the NFL so I can let this dance out.
Right.
Soon as later I got there, and as soon as I started doing it, now everybody started talking about it because it's like a hometown dance too at the same time.
Right.
So that basically saying, hey, I'm representing my home city, hometown, or area, or whatever, that we all made it. So
right. I mean, that song is totally a Florida vibe. You know what I'm saying? Especially during that time. I mean, you know, shouts out to Kaya. You know, have you ever met Kaya?
Yes, I did. We was hanging out trying to shoot a video, but it was raining and all the other stuff, so I didn't get a chance to be in it. But yeah, but I saw the whole video from background, standing right there watching and everything. So yeah, she's a good person to be around and everything else. So, and we keep in touch and everything. So
that's awesome. She's definitely a Florida great when it comes to on that hip hop scene. That's awesome, man. You know, just to have that dance, that's good stuff. So, Coach Urban Meyer, so what impact do you have on you on and off the field?
The same way, you know what I'm saying, having an impact with these players and all that. Because he said, just like he said, you come in as a boy, you're going to leave as a man.
Right.
That's what Urban Meyer always preached us and all that stuff. Becoming a man, be ready for life after football. I'm talking about every which way he gonna have us ready for everything. And he was like a third father to me too at the same time. Cause my dad was still in prison. Still, I think my dad got out of prison 2015. Graduated college 2011. When he got out, stayed a couple times, went back in and everything else. So, cause I've been visiting my dad in prison every weekend, all that other stuff, pictures, but all that was in prison type stuff. So It wasn't no normal. Cause to this day, my dad never watched me play football in person.
Right.
So and that was my goal, was to go to the league so I can have my dad to come watch me at least one time.
Right.
So and all that stuff. So yeah, man, just like I said, Urban was like my third dad and everything. So I used to go to his house every Wednesday. His wife used to cook me spaghetti. That was my favorite food to this day. If I ain't eating it, if it don't got sugar in it. Every Wednesday I was at his house. I'm looking at all the pictures, how nice the house is, the pool, hanging out with his kids. It just taught me how to be a dad, how to be a house owner, and all this stuff. So, cause you don't get taught that growing up in our era with pictures and having a big house or money or anything like that, or like a family type gathering type stuff. So it was just different. So I just taking notes with friends, parents, coaches, or whoever. So and when I all that information, when I got older, now I'm a house owner, wife, got kids, and all the other stuff. So it was nice because I ain't know it was gonna happen, but when it happened, it's amazing. Now I see why people said my goal was, if I have a house, my goal was to say, don't touch my AC because old people
Right.
always said that when we was younger.
Right.
So I was like, that's when I know I got my own house. I can say that.
Right.
Just like school, I always told myself, I'm done with school forever.
Right.
So when I graduate from college, I'm done with school ever. You ain't pay me $500 million to go back to school. Nope.
Right.
Nope.
Done.
I'm done.
I feel you. So I mean, so I'm sure, did he have his favorites, or did he just treat everybody pretty much the same all across the board?
That's a tough question.
I mean, I can't imagine all for the athletes, get a chance to hang out with him at his house and to kind of see him for the man that he is.
It's hard to say favorite because sometimes when a great player just stands out, I'm talking about every which way, you just can't help but love him type stuff. So I can't say favorite because it was a lot of players on that team and everything else, but I probably one of his, I ain't gonna say favorite, but one of his guys type stuff. So yeah,
I pretty much can say if I'm reading between the lines right, I think you were his favorite. No, but like as far as like discipline, did he discipline his players?
Oh, he definitely did. He'll embarrass you. He'll put you on the spot in team meetings. Like, cause us growing up, we get shy, nervous. One thing we don't like to get is get embarrassed and all that stuff. He definitely will embarrass you in front of everybody. Cause when we nervous or scared, and he wants you to speak up, your mama or say it low.
Right.
He'll be like, speak up, speak like a man in front of everybody. And he did all that. Everybody put you on blast on the damn film and all the other stuff, and want you to speak up, explain all that. So, cause he teach you life after football too at the same time, so you can be ready too.
Right.
So, and he taught us a lot, man.
So you gave me that tough love.
Man, definitely.
That's awesome, man. Because you got to do that. You can't. I'm a football coach. You can't be soft because the kid, they sniff that out real quick. If you're a soft coach, you're not gonna have no respect, and you cannot have the success that y'all had if he was a soft coach. So I know that he had his thumb on you guys. It's just whatever happens off campus, a coach really can't. You can't be responsible for that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because you all are men. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, all you can do is what you can do and hope for the best. Hope that these kids make the right decisions. So all that stuff that people fault him in the press. I've always not faulted him because I just know what it's like being a coach. They just try to pin everything on him. Everything anybody does falls on the head coach, no matter what it is.
No, that's where accountability came in play right there, because you want everybody to be accountability, especially with the seniors, the vets, or whatever how you call them, and you want them to protect everybody.
So example, so to speak.
Or
just look out.
Like you said, off campus.
Right.
That ain't his responsibility.
Right.
It's on our own, so we gotta be responsible for ourselves and responsible for your teammates too at the same time.
Right.
So you gotta know, make sure y'all together, make sure something happen. It happen to everybody, but not just this and that and all that. Stay out the newspaper, all that stuff. So even though that's tough and everything, because when you're an athlete, there's so much stuff coming, so many obstacles come your way. First of all, it's hard to say no, or the walk away, or just turn your head. Man, so many people be trying you, it's ridiculous, boy.
Right.
And you be like, man, sometimes you feel tough, sometimes you black out, sometimes it just a split second, man.
And that's the thing, like you guys, you're young and you're still human at the end of the day.
Yep.
But you got something, to live for. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what your plans are after college, and if you do something that could jeopardize.
Yep.
So that's something you gotta always keep in mind.
So you still learning at that time too, at the same time. But man, stuff happens so fast. You like. And then you only can reflect when it happened, after it happened, or when you're in that jail cell and start thinking about it and be like, damn, did I just do that? And then all the phone calls, the missed calls you got, text messages, hey, you did all that, and then you see your name cross the ESPN, all that stuff, but all that stuff just go in your head. Like, oh, did I mess up for NFL, or did I do that? Man, so much stuff just go, it's ridiculous.
Right. it's a lot of pressure that a college, a young college athlete has to
But
deal with.
that pressure and all that stuff, it don't sink in or be in that moment at the time when something bad happens.
Right.
Cause you just been a kid, a young kid, a student, just having fun like everybody else and all that stuff, and bam, it just happened like that. You be like, what just happened? What?
Right.
Yeah, so
I feel you, man. It's I know it can be rough. So the University of Florida had a passionate fan base. What was it like to play in the swamp?
man, it was amazing, man. That stadium gets super loud. The loudest I ever heard that stadium when we played Miami Hurricanes in '08. That was the loud. That stadium getting loud as shit, and them fans are ridiculous. They will let you know. They will let you know if you saw it because they will boo you.
Right.
That's one thing that I always keep in my head. Don't let the crowd boo you.
Right.
Do your job. Don't mess up for the coaches or your teammates and all that stuff, and definitely don't let the crowd boo you.
Right.
You don't want to be that guy.
I tell you, man, just I've been to about maybe 3 or 4 games in the swamp. Just the energy, you know what I'm saying? Just the even when it's like a timeout break, the energy is still in the crowd. You know, they still got the music playing, and it's just their expectation, especially I'd imagine during them times, is to win. You know what I'm saying? So that energy was going to always be up. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, go back to the success with basketball and just that energy on top of that. I mean, I can only imagine, just how it'll make you have goosebumps, make your skin tingle a little bit.
Man, definitely, because basketball was good, volleyball, swimming,
right,
tennis, track. I'm talking about every sport on that campus was just amazing except for girl basketball.
Right.
Girl basketball, always mess it up for everything.
We won't talk about that. Shouts out to girls basketball.
I'm still watching, but they messed up everything. But still, it was just winning everywhere, and everybody was on the same page. Even the other athletes on the other squads and all that stuff. So it was just that perfect timing for that school for everything.
Right.
Like everybody know they're going pro. Everybody know doing the right thing. Everybody know, okay, if I see the person at the club, I'm make sure I keep an eye on him or something. It doesn't matter what sport you're, because I know there's one club that all the athletes went to, and it was nice at the time till all the regular people started coming in because they noticed the athletes was going there. So, and then that's when it started going left type stuff. So, I be trying to tell people, you ain't the man in somebody else's city.
Right.
Never, ever. So don't ever think that because this somebody else's city and you do something the wrong way or whatever. It could be a bad look at somebody. These people say they've been here before you, so you always gotta be respectful of what city you in. Just like I'm in Ocala.
Right.
I'm from Lakeland. I'm gonna respect the city, but I'm gonna still help these kids and all that other stuff. So, cause people always get jealous and this and that, and start doing stuff and come out the woodwork and everything else. But end of the day, you ignore that because I learned how to ignore stuff. Because at the time, just like you said, when we were a little kid, it's hard when you get in trouble, you see all the negativity and stuff, and you respond back, you flash. Man, you just start, okay, he said that, now I'm going to say something back to him. You start learning all this stuff, and then you understand why, okay, this is why when you get older and all that stuff. So
right, you can't retaliate to everything.
Man, that is hard as hell, because some people do be saying some foul stuff. You be like, what?
Right. Right. So you don't know me like that. That's when the roots come out. The Polk County roots come out. You wanna?
Cause growing up, I went to church every Wednesday, every Sunday with my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
I always grew up, never hit a woman. So when somebody saying you're a woman beater, man, when I said I used to turn to 100% hot,
right,
boy.
I feel you, brother. I feel you on that one. Now, the 2006 through 2009 seasons when the Gators' heyday, is there a game or a moment that stands out to you?
A game or a moment? A game or a moment? No, because it would have been the national championship, but I got hurt. And can even experience the aftermath, hanging out with friends, going out and all that. Cause I had a boot on my ankle, and plus at that time, when we had this running back coach named Kenny Carter, his favorite player was Jeff Dent because Jeff Dent would run through a wall for him and all that stuff. First of all, I know how I exert my energy, and I ain't gonna be going all out like that.
Right.
At practice and everything else. So, but he loved Jeff and all that stuff. So he played him more than me, and I ain't like that. You play the best player, not the your favorite player and all that stuff. So throughout my whole college career, I all pissed off.
Right.
You'll see that scoring 20. You'll see it in there. Well, I'm pissed off.
Right.
Cause I don't like that. I don't. Cause there do be coaches out there that have favorites and want to play them and all that. And that favorite you play always. I don't care how fast you are. If you fumble this and that and all the other stuff all the time and everything else, what can you do? I can't do nothing because I ain't in the game. I can make something happen any second, split second time of the game. I can score whenever, all that stuff. So, but when Jeff McDowell and I couldn't say nothing and everything, he the coach too. And I can't sub myself and all the other stuff, but
right.
You just gotta sit there and be patient. But when your time comes, when you do get in, either you better score or do something.
Right.
So that's what I had to do. So
I feel you. There's a Netflix special coming out next month called The Swamp Kings. Now, we can't ignore the controversy surrounding some of your former teammates. How hard was it to focus with all the distractions going on around you?
No, we wanted them kind of players. It wasn't no distraction because we already knew what we were doing. We already know we want to go undefeated. We want to win. We want to win championships. Ain't nothing gonna distract us because we at that bond. We always stay together. Nobody can't break us and everything else. When I say everything together, basketball, go swimming, just chilling, going to pool parties, whatever it is, moving through. We'll just nothing could distract us. But only thing that can distract us, like if you not with everybody or you by yourself out there or something like that, and you slip up and something like that. That's the only way. So
right, I feel you. So I have a question about a few of your college teammates. I'm gonna call out some names, and I want you to tell me something about them that people don't already know. All right, first off on my list, I have Percy Harvin. What can you tell me about Percy that you know?
The best player I ever seen in my eyes. Like, you know how when you're a football player, you be like, man, ain't nobody in this world can play better than me or be like me or something like that. That's the first person I ever met in my career life that was exactly the same as me, but bigger.
Right.
Exactly the same. Speed, everything.
Right.
The takeoff, man, he was amazing.
Right.
I love watching him play. That's all I can say.
And he got there before you.
Yeah, and he was there before me.
Right. So after he left, that was your time to shine, and
yes,
they just kind of reloaded. You know what I'm saying? They had a similar player, which was you. And I remember one play he had. The defender was there. He kind of tipped the ball over his head, caught it, and then scored a touchdown. It was always played
LSU.
on ESPN. That's what it was.
Yeah, LSU
game.
Yep.
I tell you, man, when I seen that, I'm like, man, this guy is incredible.
Man, the migraine hold him back, man, because he definitely would have been the first receiver to get $200 million from the NFL.
Right. I feel you, brother. That's good, man. Shout out to Percy Harvin. So next up, I got Jeff Demps. What can you say about old Jeff Demps?
That's my brother. That's my dog. Hey, fast man in the world. That's a real speed right there.
Right.
Real speed. But yeah, young buck that came in and showed what he could do and all that stuff. So, and I know him, first time with my senior year, all the red shirt scene, he was a senior. Our coach came to us and said, hey, I'm going to be in the press box, call them plays. So I want y'all to sub yourselves. We looked at each other. We just had to make a plan. So it was just, how we going to do this? Okay, if I'm tired, I tap, you come get me. Or if I'm on the road, leave me out there. If I'm hurt, you know what to do. If I ain't playing like myself, come get me. We had to figure all this stuff out together. So and we was already on the same page one, and we already like this too at the same time. Nobody getting jealous and anything like that either. Right. Everybody gonna get their what and all that stuff. So and it worked out perfect.
That's all. So your coach, he gave you that type of freedom, so y'all
yes. Now the first time I heard that, man, I'm like, it was shocking too, but it made it work.
You know, I heard it in an interview. It was one that Cam Newton gave when he played for the University of Florida, and he said that you know the quarterback sometimes they would get the headsets, and he said that like sometimes like a play caller would go out the window, and the offensive coordinator would say, "Just get the doggone ball," and Percy Harvin. They just throw the ball the Percy Harvin. It didn't matter the play. Just get the ball in his hands and he gonna make a play.
Oh no, definitely.
You know, and that's when Cam was like, man, that's when he knew that it wasn't all about technicality. It was all about getting the ball to your best player. You know, so I'm sure that probably happened quite a bit.
Man, definitely. It was it's just ridiculous. Every time I think about that team, it's just ridiculous.
Right.
Speed everywhere and everybody was good.
Right.
But the thing is, it made me laugh because I used to tear that defense up in practice.
I believe it.
Tear them up.
I believe it. So, Tim Tebow, what can you tell us about Tim?
God, that's all I can tell you.
Right.
He was God on campus, on the football team. Everything went the right way, went his way. It was just, everything was just perfect for him at that moment, at that time. All the years he been there, it was just, the only thing I was just shocked on when he got hurt against Kentucky.
Right.
Even though that was like you can't help that, the way he got slammed and then hit somebody's knee with his head and all that stuff. You can't control that part. But when I saw that, I'm like, okay, he's not God, but he was God to everybody and all that stuff. And he was a great leader. He a tough prick. I know he definitely that. And people don't know he was a 4.5 in the 40-yard dash to be that big too at 250. And and we had to make him work a little bit with the throwing and all that stuff because we knew what that was and everything else. But he did what he supposed to do, got it there and everything. It wasn't 100% all the time, but hey, when you got all them good players, everything gonna work. So
right. Was he as good as the media portrayed him to be, or is he, was he a human being? I mean, you see, because the media has a way of building people up, and they do that just so they can build you down when you make mistakes.
Well, there's a lot of stuff we didn't like and all that stuff, like when they say, okay, Georgia versus Tebow, and like, oh no, what Tebow? He ain't the only person on our team. No, we made his name. So how y'all forgetting about us type stuff? So that's basically stuff like what they do, all that kind of stuff. But
that's something that he can't help. You can't.
No, you definitely can't help. You definitely can't help. So
you don't want the media to ever divide your team, and that's one way. That's one thing they sometimes they try to do that.
But we ain't let it get to us and everything else. Cause even with his speech, they think his speech is the reason why we won the championship. Now that speech didn't mean nothing. It was just the perfect time, and it made it seem like it.
And it captured on camera.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just a moment.
Yep.
It's so crazy. Like looking back on that, it almost seemed like his whole experience was scripted, but he lived it. Y'all played those games. Those were real events that happened. But the way that they, played
that's why I said, hey, God.
Right. And like I say, now he got a statue, right there in front of the stadium. So, but and you played with, somebody. You played with him, and he has that accomplishment.
One thing I damn sure do know, he got some good parents, man. They some great people.
Right.
Great people.
That's awesome.
And I see where you get it from. So.
That's awesome, man. So Riley Cooper. What can you tell me about Riley that, because I know he was, he really didn't get the exposure of you guys because, like I say, fastest team. He might not have been the fastest, but he was right there with you guys.
He was a 4.3.
Oh, he's right. Okay.
White boy was a 4.3. Yes. A dog, 4.3.
Right.
And a tough prick.
Yeah.
And somebody you want on your team, because in our era, growing up, believe it or not, you weren't allowed to get beat by a white boy.
Right.
Whatever it is, you might not get beat by a white person.
Right.
That's how I was growing up in our era, and everything. People probably think
That's the
that racist
mentality.
at this time, but nah, that ain't. That's how I was living in the neighborhood and the ghetto and all that other stuff. And you'll get embarrassed. You'll say that you'll disrespect your name and all that stuff, your family if you get beat by white and all that. But when you get on teams and everything, you meet other colors or play with other colors, and you start seeing everything. Yeah, it ain't a whole bunch of, but it's a few white boys out there in this world that can play some football.
Right.
And he's one of them.
Right.
And he's from Tampa, so that area, it's athletes everywhere in that area, Tampa, Lakeland, Orlando,
Right.
all that kind of stuff, but it's still the state of Florida too at the same time. So
Right.
and he did what he did, that's who you want on your teams. Players like that. They're gonna do everything they supposed to, do their job, make something happen, make plays, all that. So he was the same as us, just a different color. That's all.
That's awesome. Now, he caught a lot of flack. You know what I'm saying? What he said after some concert and everything. What can you tell the people about him, like his true nature? I mean, is that truly him, or did you have a great relationship with him?
So that situation, because it's funny to me. It's funny to me because being around us and everything else, he felt like he act like a black guy.
Right.
Even though he ain't, but that's how we looked at it and all that stuff. So, and him probably thinking, yeah, black guy. It's hard to explain that. It's hard to explain it because at that moment, who knows what he probably had it deep down inside. Who knows? Anything can be, but at the moment I'm thinking, okay, he probably thought he was in football or something or whatever back in college. Man, who knows? It could go every which way.
Right.
I'm trying to look at it as a positive way, but I ain't trying to look at it because I don't look at racism like that and all that. I stay away from that type of stuff because it get you killed and all that stuff. Because there's some people don't give up.
Right, you're right. But at the end of the day, he's still your brother.
You
know what I'm saying? He's still one of the Swamp Kings. You know what I'm saying? He still can share some of the same memories that you have.
Yes, sir.
And like I said, that stuff's in the past, but I'm sure all that stuff will resurface just because of Netflix documentary that's coming out. So I thought it would be a fair question to ask. So the late Aaron Hernandez, what can you tell us about him as a teammate?
Great dude, dog, tough prick, smile on his face always. Had just his mama. What was that baby? What's the baby sister at the time? I think so. Yeah, just great dude, athletic, all that. Couldn't juke. I had to teach him how to juke. Even Jeff Dunn had to teach him how to juke. Boy, they couldn't juke for nothing. But as soon as they perfected, they the rest of history, especially with Aaron Hernandez. And he was a playmaker, all that. Just like one of the guys I talked to at the Friday Night Lights before we came to college and all that stuff. So he came and you see what he was. It was a playmaker and everything else and all the other stuff that came out. It just was shocking. Even the gate jump with the quarterback from his high school, man.
Right. You know people, but you don't really know people.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I've always said that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all always have a brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? I know he's deceased now and everything, but it's just the media, they gonna take stuff and spin it. It's been proven that he's did what he did, but I don't really want to too much. I don't want to put too much time into that, but I just want to really kind of focus on
for me, I tell people the worst thing that happened to Aaron Hernandez, he got drafted to a football team that was an hour away from home. So when you're an hour away from home, all your old friends coming back, this and that, because you already stayed in Florida, because when you got old friends, they ain't trying to go way down there unless you paying for them, this and that, or whatever else, and all that stuff.
Right.
But when you right there, and they can NFL, all the girls, this and that, and all that, they gonna start coming back and all that stuff, and when you get locked in with your old friends and all the memories back in the day and all that, now you back hanging out, doing this, doing that, and now you start slipping up because you with old friends that's probably can get you in trouble. So that's what I'm guessing.
Right.
But I think that was I tell people that all the time, hey, I think that was the worst thing that can happen.
Living too close to home.
Especially when you're going to the NFL, because I was scared to go to, if I went to the damn Tampa Bay Bucks and you got the casino right there, man, boy.
It's tough, and plus, I've never been in a situation where, I came up or, had any type of success, but going back to your hood, you got people that want you to take care of them. You got people that want you to do the same things that y'all did when you was in high school. And, you might not be on that no more, but they still stuck on that. And then they always think, well, man, you changed. You know what I'm saying? But deep down inside, you don't want to let people think that you changed. So you kind of go back to some of that old stuff sometimes. Not saying that all people do it, but most of the time that's always the story that you hear on ESPN.
I'm still the same person since first grade, so I don't want nobody saying that to me. I've been the same person. That's just me. Period. Point blank. So, and I ain't never disrespect nobody because I'm one of the people that I'm scared to have enemies because I don't want to be coming outside looking over my shoulder and this and that. I can't imagine. Because when we're in college or high school, NFL, when I'm in the club, I look at everybody, smile, wait, all that, because that wrong look, anything can happen, man. I don't trust none of that stuff.
Right, you can trigger somebody. Right, you can trigger somebody to do something crazy.
I want everybody to say, oh, that man respectful. He always smile. He always happy. He got energy, good energy, this and that, all that stuff. Right. I don't want nobody talking bad about me. Period. Point blank.
Right. Well, I think that's what people will say, that you're always positive, always have good energy. So, as a player, you had your own share of challenges and setbacks. How did you handle adversity, and what lessons did you learn from those experiences?
There's probably two things I learned. Think before you act. That was the number one thing for me.
Right.
Cause first time in love, having a girlfriend at the time in college and all that stuff, and we get in an argument, but I never did like a sister at the time and all that stuff. So I end up slipping up saying something, even though she don't think I mean or I mean and all that stuff. At the time, you just saying something, and then when you look back at it, you're like, damn, I really said that.
Right.
I ain't thinking of this. Right. Time to die. You thinking you just like you talking to a friend type stuff, or being funny or not being funny, but still just talking. Right. Talking, you don't mean by it and all that other stuff. So when I said that, the sister called the cops. Right. So the cops went to their house. I'm on campus. The cops got on the phone, say, hey, we can take you to jail for this. All that was sorry, sir, this and that and all that. Man, 2 hours later, I'm in handcuffs.
Oh, man. First
of all, the cops didn't like the athletes, and especially the football players during this time. When I say the cops didn't like us, period, so we had to...
Is it because a bunch of people getting in trouble?
I don't know why they didn't like us like that. They did not like us. Man, I'm talking about it was bad. Right. It was bad. When it comes to parking tickets, I'm talking about bad, boy. But yeah, got arrested. Irma was mad at me at that time. He definitely mad and all that stuff. So, but he already knew I ain't that type of person. So, and everything else, and he can't do nothing because I said something, didn't mean it, but he just got to do. I had to do community service hours. Got suspended for 5 games. And just had to work my way back on the team and all that other stuff. And get redistributed. What how you say it? I forgot how to say the word, but yeah, that's what I had to do. But other lesson was, I'm gonna blame Ike Taylor for this one too, because he was my locker roommate in Steelers. So imagine that. And then you get 2 phones. Never had 2 phones in my life.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? Because he was at business or whatever else and all that stuff. So I got second phone. Never got caught till after the season. Got caught, and that was, I think it was like 7 a.m. We having the boys trip to Vegas because I ain't never been to Vegas. And when I got caught, some girl next door ended up saying she saw me hit my girl at the time. No, I didn't. And at that time, that's when the Rivalries junk was going on. So that's when the law was approved when they said if they come for domestic violence, the man going to jail no matter what.
Right.
So that law was in, and they came, they talked to her. I walked past like I ain't know anything because I offered the dip and just say leave it, bump the phone because that was gonna be my last weekend with the second phone, and I won't get rid of it because I ain't get caught since to that day. So the car said, "Hey, are you Chris?" Told me to wait right there. So I'm sitting on the back of the rental car I got. They talking to her. They said I didn't hit her. And I said I didn't hit her either, and all that stuff. So the cops got in a circle talking to each other while I'm sitting down. So they told me to get up. They surrounded me and put me in handcuffs, and ended up going to jail, telling my cousin, "Hey man, call Mike T, this and that and all this stuff." This one with the Steelers. And 2 hours later, got cut. I'm in jail for 25 hours. Felt like I was in there for 25 years, even though I don't want to. But because I ain't never ever want to be in jail because I say probably about 85% of my family been in jail, prison, all the other stuff. I ain't trying to be like that, but somehow, somewhere I'm in there,
right,
and everything else. So, but that's the worst feeling, being in jail when you're innocent. Right. So that's when I started. I'm like, damn, I can't imagine all the people that's in prison that's innocent and they gotta wait to. Boy, man, that was the worst feeling ever in my life. I offered to walk home when I got out.
Yeah.
But I seen somebody saw me, hey, jumped in and dropped me off at the house. Well, I said I offered to walk home because that was probably about 10, maybe 12 miles from my house, from the jailhouse.
Right.
Man, boy, that was the worst feeling ever. Being in jail, innocent, boy.
Right.
Then lose your job.
Right.
They ain't finna change their mind, this and that and all this stuff. But you see nowadays, all these people beating up girls and it's on camera and you see it and they it's like, man, what the heck? What that? You can't do nothing about it. It just, because I know for a fact I'll get my second contract because that's how much confidence I had when I was in the league. Right. So, and just like I said, when you play in the SEC, it's the same as the NFL, period, point blank. That's the closest you can get to NFL, is SEC.
Absolutely. I know you, like you said, you're going to get that contract. I know you had a preseason game. Did you run back 2 punt returns at the same time?
Yes, and special team meetings that whole week. Mike Tomlin say, hey, this is the weakest special team we're going against this week. Take advantage of it. Rainey, you got first quarter. You got this quarter. You got that quarter. I'm looking at film. Oh, boy, I'm about to do something. And in the preseason too, so you still try to make the team, even though I was killing that practice too at the same time and scoring every preseason game. Right. So when it getting closer to cut day type stuff, so now I got to step up the game up some more. So my turn out there, punt the ball and made something happen because the wedge was on the blocking wedge was on one side and I'm on the other side, so I gotta get my way back to get on that side where the blocking at. Right. So I ended up doing that, ran it back. So I said, boy, I can't believe I just did this, and I'm still shocked because it's NFL. Right. Man, 3 minutes later, I'm back at punt return. This time, 90-yard punt return touchdown. So at this time, I'm like, I just really did this in NFL. Right. And the first thing I went to when I got to the sideline, I went to Mike Thomas. I said, hey, did I make the team? He slapped me on my butt and said, man, get your butt out of here, man. Hey, because people don't know, when Mike Tomlin, when they still draft me, the first thing Mike Tomlin said when I got on the phone, guess what he said?
What did he say?
Time to die, bitch.
Oh, yeah.
I bust out loud. I said, okay, I like this coach already. I already know we finna So yeah, that what showed me that he a real dude, and I love Mike Tomlin. He keep it real, everything.
Right.
That's why he's so respected. That's why he's still there to this day.
Man, that's awesome, man. I always respected him too as a coach.
Man, he a great coach. Oh my God, best coaches ever. My high school coach, Urban Meyer, Mike Tomlin.
That's awesome. That is so awesome, man. So, I do want to ask you, is there any story that you can tell us about that 2009 team or 2018 when y'all were kings of the swamp that people don't really know about? Is there anything you can just share a little nugget with the people?
So 09, when we were playing against Mississippi State, this when Coach Mullen got him a head coaching job. He was with Mississippi State. Yep, I think he was one of the first coaches to get a head coaching job with Urban staff. So Tebow threw 2 pick six before halftime, and Tebow and Spikes for to go head on at halftime. Nobody wasn't breaking it up. Nobody wasn't doing nothing. They were for the watch, just like me. I stand up on the bench so I can watch.
So they fight because he threw the interceptions?
He was trying to lose the game. That's how I'm trying to tell. And plus, we trying to go undefeated too at the same time. Remember, right. Tebow a senior and Spikes a senior.
Right.
They came in together and all that stuff too. So I understand the situation. And plus, you're going to mess up our rank number 1. We undefeated, all the kind of stuff. We trying to win back to back. So they're like basketball teams. So
you got the pretty much the captain of the offense in Tebow. And the captain of the defense in Spikes.
Yes.
And they about to go head to head.
Yeah, and I was for the watch. I would have told people, don't break it up. I'm trying to watch this fight.
Right.
Charlie Strong trying to break it up and everything else. And man, it was funny, man. It was funny, but it ain't never happened though.
Right.
It ain't never happened.
So refresh our memory. What happened? Did y'all end up winning that game?
Oh yeah, we won.
And do a little something,
Hey, I'm always do mine, no matter what. But yeah, that was a close game though. That was a close game because Dan Mullen, because his offense was our offense at one point in time. He was doing the same plays that we were doing too at the same time. So they were doing all right, but still, because they had a good running back and quarterback at the time.
But they just didn't have the depth, y'all.
Yeah, they just didn't have depth. So that's why we ended up winning that game at the end. So.
Man, that's awesome, man. So, Chris, you've racked up over 10,400 return yards in the CFL. Do you think that's enough to get you into the CFL Hall of Fame?
Well, that's easy to get in the Hall of Fame up there and all that stuff. So, and me being there for a shorter period of time, because I know when you go places or go play football, whatever, you got to look up the history and all that stuff. You got to know who I'm trying to be better, where I'm going into, is I'm ready for, is I'm prepared for, and all that, everything else, who the best players came out of this, all that stuff. So, and notice, thing. So it was pinball, one of the greats that was up there. Dang, what's his name? Gizmo was another one that was off the chain there and everything else. Even though he scored, what they say, they scored probably about damn 60 damn.
Wow. That's 60 touchdowns. Holy cow.
30 hour special, 30 hour damn, man. Well, he was a beast.
Right.
That's all I know. So I was like, man, and he was number 1 in all purpose and all the other stuff too at the same time. So, but either way, I still love football and I play the way I play and everything else. I play to win and help win championships and all that stuff. So I ain't really get the ball much because they wanted me to be the primary weapon on special teams.
Right.
Even though every time I talk about that, I get mad because I want to be a star running back. To this day, I still get small. I ain't gonna take all these hits and all that. And I keep telling people, I play in the SEC. Stop giving me all this bull excuses all the time. But they needed me on special teams. They didn't want to risk getting me hurt and all the other stuff, So, but when playoff time comes, they can use me everywhere and all that stuff. Because I always train. Like I said, I train my body as I'm the starting running back too at the same time. Right. So, and I train like I trained in college too, all that too, putting the prospect. But yeah, so because running backs when you start running back, especially big running back, they don't really last like that. They always get hurt or something like that. So I always prepare myself to play the whole game at running backs, punt return, kick return, all that stuff. Because there's a few times, like at least 5 times, I had to play the whole game: running back, receiver, punt return, and kick return, the whole game.
Wow.
But I'm ready for it though, and that's what I want to do. But they ain't want me to do all that stuff. But like I said, I always had prepared myself to do it.
Right.
And when that time come, they be like, man, I love shocking people, boy.
Right.
Putting that mouth drop on their face and be like, oh, I told y'all playing the SC. What y'all talking about? But y'all better look at my damn resume or something. Right. But you don't want to say all that, but still,
you tell them I do this.
Man, but my goal was, like I said, was to be number one in anything, everything. So I found out recently that I'm right there to be number one all time, and I probably got about 4 more years in me. But the coaches up there, they ain't the same like down south when it comes to football, because it seems like they get coaching jobs because of the family history in the league.
Right.
Never played football in their life. Man, it's crazy.
Very political, very.
Man, it is crazy, and it's more Canada too, and they don't like us Americans coming up there trying to take over.
Right.
That's why they got that ratio rule up there too. You got to be a certain amount of Canadians on the field at the same time. So.
Oh well, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Huh. Good. So right now you're ranked number 2 in all-purpose return yards, right? And as a
it should be. Right. It should be.
So you ever think about? So is that a goal? You want to try to get that number 1 spot? Because I think that would solidify.
Man, I started thinking about when they told me and everything. Yeah, but I ain't. And then at the same time, after my last year, my wife was telling me it's time to come home. I ain't really understand. Notice that when people say it, when you watch it. When people retire and all the other stuff, you don't really understand it till they say it to you, and you be like, okay, I see why you said that, because you by yourself with the kids and everything else. I can't imagine, because when you have single parents and all that, and you see it and everything, the struggle and all the other stuff, you be like, man, I ain't trying to be in that situation there, so let me get there and all that stuff. So, yeah, so there's just so much stuff happen at the same time.
No, that's totally understandable. But I tell you, man, like I look at athletes like you and like your running style, like you like a scat back slasher, you know what I'm saying? And I look at the field up there in Canada, it's much bigger than the NFL
man,
field.
It's 10 times bigger.
So it's like a dreamland for you, you know what I'm saying? Like you, like I say, stop on a dime, cut,
And who introduced me to the club in college? It used to be football on TVs in the locker room and everything, yeah, but it was CFL, but you didn't really realize what that was until I got older. So when I got to the Colts, Freeman, the middle linebacker, what's his last name? First name, something Freeman. He was a middle linebacker with the Colts, old school. That's how he got to the NFL coming from the CFL.
Right.
So he was like my locker roommate. He told me, Rainey, if this don't never work out, try the CFL. And he was saying, man, because you will love it up there and you will tear it up because the field big and all that other stuff. They put you in space and all that, and it's running start and all the other stuff.
Right.
So when I went, and I'm thinking about it, but I ain't really thinking about it, it came true. So when I got cut by the coach over some bull crap, I took the blame. I ain't know something bad was gonna happen. But I took the blame so nobody won't get in trouble, but I ended up getting cut after that. When that time you be like, man, what the heck going on? Did I do something bad? I got bad luck or something? Everybody always gonna have that going through your head. What's going on? Getting all the cut and all the other stuff. But hey, what it is, because it always says it's a reason why.
Right.
Reason for everything. So.
It always worked. It all worked out for the good.
Yeah, definitely. And you got to make it work out for the good and keep it work out for the good and all the other stuff too. So, I always been praying since first grade. So, I think that's another reason too at the same time. So, got a call from Montreal. Because, it's a lot of people ask me, they be like, is Canada across seas? Like when you growing up, you think Canada is across sea, but it's right on the top of the damn U.S.
Right.
Man, so many people down south don't know that though.
Right.
Like, especially because people ain't probably been in school in a long time, they probably don't remember and everything. But man, Canada's right there, a few hours on the flight and everything else. So when I got there, I said, man, this Canada. Because I met somebody who was from Canada in college during track season. She ran track for Kentucky. Beautiful track runner, white girl. I'm talking about amazing. It's hard to find beautiful track women like that. And from Canada, but you don't realize what Canada till you go there. When you go to Canada, you're like, oh, so that's why she was so fine, this and that, and all the other stuff. And so it's right there when I got my chance.
And so, last thing, Chris, tell us what you got next coming up for you.
Well, I do speed training. I got my own track club, Ring the Elite Speed. Coach Pop won the football. Me, it's just all about the kids because I understand and I notice that the kids nowadays don't know what hard work is. Ain't learning anything because everybody getting soft these days. So you just gotta. I'm just trying to get this next generation going before it be too late because this generation now is just lazy. Want everything handed to them.
Well, Chris, man, I appreciate you coming by and chopping it up with me, man. And you're always welcome to come here anytime, my brother. And
what up, everybody? This your boy Chris Rainey. I'm on the highway with Chops.
God, listen. I got Chris Rainey here. We just did an interview. I challenged him to a race. He gave me like a little head start right here. Well, look here. Don't let the size fool you. I know I'm big and everything, but I kick the shoes off and everything. You know what I'm saying? So,
I ain't taking mine off.
I know he beat Chris still, but I think I got it. You gonna call the baby?
Sure.
Don't shoot. You got him. Make you zoom in on him.
Oh, I got him.
You ready to go?
All right.
Here we go.
Ready?
Yeah.
Go. I got it. We want you to be a part of this incredible journey. Be sure to subscribe, and you'll be the first to know about new episodes, game recaps, and inspiring stories.